Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to talk you through all of the equipment I take with me on a summer camp. This includes everything from my shelter to my sleep system to my clothing and cookware. And this setup I have here is about half the weight of my winter gear. Up until this year, my winter gear was pretty much my only gear. But this year I've hit my pack weights really hard because it really improves the walking and the camping experience. It's less weight on your shoulders, less weight for your joints and muscles to carry around everywhere, and it generally means that you're not going to get as hot as you would if you were carrying twice that weight. All of my summer gear packs up into my Osprey Exos 48, and having bought the Exos to lose a bit of weight, I've actually found that I could have gone even smaller on that. Okay, it didn't like me saying that, but I chose a 48 litre pack and I actually think I could have got away with a 38 litre pack or even smaller. As it happens, the weight difference between the Exos 38 and 48 packs is negligible, so I don't mind carrying around that little bit of extra weight for the extra volume just in case I need it. Summer has arrived here in the UK and I saw 30 degrees Celsius on the car on the drive here to film this video, and it's going to get hotter as well. Even so, there is a gentle breeze and I think the quilt is the most enthusiastic about trying to break free today, so I'll get started with the quilt. Let's get on with this video. I've bought a little dry bag for my Cumulus quilt. This is the X-Bed XS size. It also happens to tie in quite nicely with the colour of the quilt. So that packs down nice and small, under 500 grams. And if you want to see how I got on with this on my first camp, click up here to watch a quick review. Next up, I'll pack up my Thermarest NeoAir X-Therm, which has a claimed weight of 640 grams. The NeoAir X-Therm is a very popular mat for a few reasons. Its R value is through the roof at 6.9, so it'll keep you nice and warm in those cold temperatures. It's very light for the warmth it gives, weighing in at a theoretical 640 grams, although I find this is more like 750. And even though it's 6.4 centimeters high when inflated and gives you all of that warmth, it packs up to a lovely small size and takes up very little space in your pack for the amount of warmth and comfort it gives you. Now on to the MSR wind burner stove. This is one of my favourite pieces of kit. It seemed like a really big investment at the time, but it's just the ultimate camping stove as far as I'm concerned, for my use anyway. It never blows out. It packs down really nice and neatly with everything sliding into the cook pot. And then once your lid's on top, it doesn't rattle around much at all. And then you've even got a drink cup that clips on the bottom. In the bag it goes. Now I come to my Trekology Luft 2.0 pillow. I've had this for over 2 years now. It's never let me down. I find it comfortable, but this pillow weighs in at very little. It packs down smaller than the size of your fist, to give you a rough idea, and comes with a neat little stuff sack as well. There we go, in the bag. First aid kit, very important. This has all kinds of basics in it. It's got scissors, it's got bandages, it's got tape. I've also wedged in a little pot of waterproof matches. So these things will light even in the rain, and they have a little striking strip on the side of them, and that is a waterproof container. So if you end up in the worst storms, your lighter's given up, your spark stick doesn't work, I've always got the ability to light a fire. I've got a whistle, although the Osprey packs tend to come with a whistle on the chest strap here. So I could get rid of the Whistler in my first aid kit if I wanted, but it weighs about 2 grams, so why would I? This comes with me on every single camp I go on, just because you never know what might happen. It's not going to have everything in it for every eventuality, but I'd rather have this than not. Next to get packed up is my very new Outdoor Research helium bivvy. I used this last weekend, so if you want to see my video of this in use, click up here to see me camping on the Welsh coast. This thing is a great bit of kit. It weighs in at 500 grams, in fact just under 500 grams, and it's fully waterproof. It also happens to be my very first bivvy. In the summer I do like to use my Nature Hike Vic 1 tent as well, because that weighs 1.1 kilograms, which is only 600 grams more than this tent. But if I want to be particularly discreet, or if the terrain's going to be tricky to pitch a tent on, whether it's because it's rocky or uneven maybe, then this just gives me a few other options when I need them. When you come to roll up a bivvy bag, it makes it a little bit easier if you leave the opening up at the head end open, and that just means that as you roll the bivvy up towards the head end, all the air gets expelled out of the top instead of turning the whole thing into a balloon that you then can't squash down to pack into the pack sack. There's that done. In the bag it goes. And included in my pack weight here are these 4 pegs. I've got 2 little rock pegs for the guy lines, and then 2 classic shaped pegs which just hook those little peg out points down on the 2 corners of the bag. We're getting into some of the odds and sods now. My little flex tail pump I mentioned earlier, and then my bag of electricals. I'm still just using a cheapo sandwich bag, which isn't really ideal, and this is one little piece of kit I'd like to upgrade eventually. It's just not very robust, and I don't really like squashing it down too hard in the bag, but it's been doing the job for a few years. It keeps the worst of the water out, and I haven't had any problems with anything getting into the bag. Here's my Sawyer mini filter, which I only bought a few months ago, and then the Ceenoc Vecto 2-litre water bag I use with it. So very simple, just collect water in your bag, squirt it through the filter, and then that gives you a great deal of protection against nasties in the water. It doesn't protect you against everything, such as viruses, but it's a personal choice. There are plenty of very sensible recommendations to say that you use Puritabs and or boil your water. It's really up to you. You can read all the advice out there and make your own decision. I picked up a little Opinel knife from Go Outdoors a few months back, just because I would hate to be in the situation where all I needed to get myself out of a problem was a knife and I didn't have one. So it's very cheap, very light, and very simple, but I think it's a good idea to carry one with you just in case. And that just leaves me with my spare clothes really. This is a 4-class down jacket I bought from Decathlon for about £35 I think. It's really lightweight, it's really warm for its weight as well. And because it doesn't cost too much, I'm not too precious about it. I do have a more expensive down jacket made by Mountain Equipment, which is the Light Line, which is a very popular jacket, and I'm a little bit more careful with that one. This one has been known to be used as a rugby ball just for passing around on walks, because it's just like a rugby ball. But yeah, it's nice and light, it's really warm. The hood fits really well and zips right up over your mouth, so it's a really good one for those cold nights when you've got to camp and you're just starting to cool down. And then this is really just a representative selection of spare clothes. Thick socks, not that I take my Christmas socks camping, but I will always take some but I will always take some thick socks, some kind of thermal layer, and then I've also brought some really thick heavy trousers which I wouldn't actually bring in the summer. I just grabbed a selection of clothes on my way out to give a rough representation of volume and weight. So these actually weigh a lot more than the clothes I would normally take with me in the summer, but you get the picture. Spare clothes are always stored in a dry bag, so you can squash it right down and it just takes up that little bit less volume in your pack, and it keeps any moisture in if you've put wet clothes in here, or alternatively it keeps any rain or moisture out if you want to keep your clothes dry for when you arrive at camp. So believe it or not, that is now everything packed up that I need for a night out in the wild. The only things I haven't shown you are a really simple polythene sheet I put down on the ground so I can lay my sleep mat out on it without fear of puncturing it, a sponge for drying off my tent or bivvy bag, and a towel for getting dried as well. Everything I've just shown you comes in at 6.45 kilos, and that's including the backpack. And that's it. Of course, I would be adding water and food normally, anything up to 3 litres of water on a hot summer's day. And in terms of food, it's going to be round about the 1 to 1.5 kilogram mark for a single night camp. So if we add 4.5 kilograms of water and food to the weight I've just talked you through, that brings us up to 11 kilograms for absolutely everything, which I'm so happy with because I've been lugging around packs over 15 kilograms for years now. The main contributors to that weight loss are this new Exos rucksack, my Cumulus quilt, and the Outdoor Research bivvy. Those 3 pieces of kit I just mentioned aren't cheap to buy, but it's taken me a few years to get to this point, and a few years to work out how much camping really means to me and how much I'm willing to invest in my hobby to make it more enjoyable for myself. That's it for this video on my warm weather gear. I'll be back in a couple of months to give you a rundown on what I carry around in the colder months, and I can tell you it's a lot heavier than what I've got on my back right now. Thank you for watching, and if you'd like to see more of my videos, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.